Who heard of Google? You all did, right? Who heard of PageRank? PageRank is the original algorithm of Google that made it Google. So it used to be, there was other search engines before, there was Yahoo, there was Alta Vista, there was a lot of them. And then the innovation behind Google was the idea that you rank the pages in order to display them. And that's yet another way. It's not probabilistic information retrieval, it's not language models, it's a third way of ranking. Here's how it works. This is the web. Well, it's a sample of the web, but you have to imagine billions or trillions of documents like this. So it's a network, right? Because you know hypertext links, you know, that can allow you to navigate from a document to another. So every page can link to other pages. I put them as a graph here, how they link to each other. Now, the idea of PageRank is that a page has an impact, depending on how popular it is or how relevant it is to people. So Reddit or Wikipedia, for example, would have a much higher impact than a personal web page, for example. Now, there's the idea that the impact is divided evenly across the links. If there's only one link, if a page only links to one page, then all of the impact goes onto one page. If it links to 2 pages, then it divides in 1/2 the impact. 3 pages, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, right? So now, if I had, you know, the impacts of my documents and I had its probabilities, I can basically build a weighted graph of the web, right? Where every link has a weight that depending on the impact of the page that I come from, evenly divided across the outgoing links. Now imagine as a thought experiment, a random walker over the web. You basically sit in front of your computer and you just randomly click, you scroll down, you click, you scroll down, you click, just randomly, and you do that for billions of years. And then you, like this, and then you just collect statistics on how often you were on every page, right? So you basically do it for so long that you keep coming back and back and back on the pages, and then you try to see if you were to do that, what would be the statistics of that. And then what you get is a distribution over the pages. That's the frequency at which you would visit these pages if you would just randomly click on links. Who is with me? Right? Of course, we cannot do that, but it gives us an idea. What if we were to calculate that? To calculate what would happen if I would randomly go across the web, and that gives me a ranking algorithm. Well, the idea, that's a few examples. I have 2 pages that look like each other, 1/2, 1/2. Then they would have the same impact, right? Now, what if I have 3 pages, pages 1 and 3 both point to page 2, and only to page 2, while page 2 splits evenly among 1 and 3? Who agrees that intuitively the impact, the frequency of visit of page 2 would be double the others if I just randomly walk like this? I would be on page 2 twice as much as on page 1 and 3, right? Do you agree? You can do it mentally, or even do it on a piece of paper. Just randomly walk. You will be half of the time, actually, at every odd position, you are on page 2, and at every even position, you are either on page 1 or page 3. So that gives us 1/4, sorry, 1/4, 1/4, and 1/2. But that's a simple example. What about the entire internet? Well, let's abstract that away. Imagine that my distribution in here is a vector where there's one coordinate for every web page. I have x1, x2, x3. These are all my web pages, and xk is the score, the frequency at which I visit my web page. So imagine I take that as a probability distribution. I just start by tossing a coin, and I land on a page at random, and then I transition. So imagine that here I have probabilities x1 and x2 on being on page 1 and page 2. I basically can come up with a transition matrix. Basically, I can encode my edges, the weights that are on my edges there. I can encode them into a matrix. In that case, it swaps. So if I had if I had probability x1 on being of page 1, then I have probability x1 of being on page 2 at the next round. Do you agree? And if I had a probability x2 of being on page 2, then the next round I'm at page 1. So this is just a linear algebra thing that I multiply probability of 1 times x1 times probability of 0 times x2. That's my next probability on being on page 2, right? Do you agree with that? It's like a transition, it's a transition matrix. I think it's also called the stochastic matrix because the sum on every column, I think, is going to be 1 and exactly corresponds to the weights that are outgoing from one specific node. So basically, I take all of these weights, feed them into some big matrix, and it turns out that if I multiply that stochastic matrix with my initial probabilities, I get the next probabilities, right? If I apply it to 1, 2, 1, 2, so 1/2, 1/2, what do I get? I get exactly 1/2, 1/2. That is a fixed point. Do you agree? In fact, I love fixed points. I'd like to have a fixed point, right? Because that's stationary, basically. That would be my goal. This is another example with this graph. Do you agree that would be my stochastic matrix? Do you agree every column sums up to 1? As we call a stochastic matrix. And if I multiply the matrix with x1, x2, x3, I get a new distribution of probabilities after the transition, after going one step. Do you agree that this is stationary? This is a fixed point. This 1/4, 1/2, 1/4 distribution I gave you is actually a fixed point. That's the intuition of what I wanted to find. I want a fixed point. It stays the same. Here's another example. You can look at it offline. This is another graph, and this would be my matrix. Again, do you agree it sums up to 1 in every column? So it's a stochastic matrix. And then if I multiply with my initial probabilities, I get new ones. Now imagine I said I'm a random walker. I just keep going and going and going. So now I multiply with my matrix. I multiply again. I multiply again. So I'm basically taking my matrix to an exponent. I just, to the power of k, if I do it k times, right? Now, what if I do it infinitely many times? Then you want to ask the question, does it converge, right? Then you have a sequence indexed by k. Does it converge somewhere? And now, I don't know if you remember that in mathematics, there is the idea that if it converges, then it must be to a fixed point. It can only converge to a fixed point. Do you agree? Right? Whatever it converges to must be a fixed point. Careful, it doesn't work the other way around. You might have a fixed point, but it doesn't converge to it, right? So it only works one way. But if it converges, then the limit of that must be a fixed point, right? So it must be a fixed point. So we want to find a fixed point. What better way to find a fixed point? We diagonalize the matrix. That's it. If you diagonalize the matrix, then you find the fixed point, because the fixed point is the eigenvector or an eigenvector corresponding to the eigenvalue 1. Who agrees with that? Right. So basically, Google turned into a billion or even trillion-dollar company by diagonalizing matrices. I just want to show you, how linear algebra is extremely powerful. So this is what it is. Then there's a bit, I'm basically done. You can slightly modify that. It's some sort of smoothing again, that you might, if you just randomly walk, you might get stuck in some places on the internet. So you need a reset button. So basically, at every step, there's a small probability. You just, again, teleport yourself at random on a page with a small factor. And so you add that little correcting factor. And instead of having just the matrix M, you have again, it's some cooking. There's a bit of mix of that matrix and a bit of mix of landing at random on a web page, which is a matrix with ones everywhere, divided by n because we want the columns to sum up to 1, right? Okay, but that's it. That's what I wanted to show you. And again, the lesson here is linear algebra is very important, is extremely powerful. I mean, it's in machine learning, it's absolutely everywhere. And that was an illustration of, I mean, as a student, I was just amazed by the idea of diagonalization. Like, that sounded like the ultimate thing that I would learn in my bachelor studies. Okay, so we are basically done for today. Next week, again, I repeat, there will be a Kahoot contest come as many as you can to the lecture hall. There will be 5 prizes, we said, some sweets. And of course, it's easier to hand them over if you're in the lecture hall than over Zoom, because we don't exactly know how to send them over Zoom yet. Thank you very much for being such an awesome class and for, managing to follow this, although it's at the master's level. See you next week for a celebration at the end of the semester. And then, of course, we'll be there until the exam to help you, answer your questions offline. We'll be with you. Enjoy the exercises. Thank you, Aditya. Thank you, Timo. And see you next week.